Marriage tip: if you want to love your kids best, love your spouse the most. I got word today of a couple that my wife and I know who've decided to file for divorce. They've ended their marriage. And a word of advice that came from them to us and from us to you is this: if you want to love your kids best, love your spouse even more. When kids enter the picture, which is a wonderful thing, they often become the center of the little universe that you've established. They become the sun around which everything else orbits. But eventually those kids, ideally, grow up and they move away and they create little universes of their own. But what happens if the center of the universe leaves? Everything else loses its gravitational pull and then spins off in its own direction. And that's often what happens in homes. The kids leave, and since they're the center of the universe, the gravitational pull keeping mom and dad, husband and wife engaged is gone, and they find out that they end up floating far away from each other. No, the best way to keep everybody's universe intact is to focus primarily, first, foremost, and best on each other as husband and wife, so that even as the kids spin off and do their own thing, you are still together, and the universe as a whole can stay strong. If you want to love your kids best, love your spouse the most. Indeed, whenever the scriptures talk about marriage, a beautiful, biblical, godly marriage, it talks about how a husband loves his wife and then his children. It talks about how a wife loves her husband and then the kids. It's not to say that you don't love the kids, but rather it's about understanding what the center of the universe needs to be, what the foundation of the home really is. A love for the Lord, a love for each other as mom and dad that creates a firm foundation, a strong gravitational pull, so to speak, for everybody else.